Spartanburg City Council meeting to order. We're going to stand for a moment of silence, and I would ask if you would just remember Miss Millie King, J-Van King's wife. J-Van was funeralized on this past Saturday and retired from police force August of last year. A pillar in this community, SRO at Norman for years, and just an all-around good guy. So remember his wife in this moment of silence. Let us stand. Amen. Mayor Pro Tem, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have item 3, approval of the minutes of the October 13th, 2025 City Council meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any that oppose? Ayes have it. Item 4, we have approval of the agenda for the October 27th, 2025 City Council meeting.
So moved.
All second? All in favor? Aye. Any that oppose? Ayes have it. We have a public comment this evening from Andy Draw. Andy, when you come up, you have 2 minutes, sir. It will start after you give us your address.
Hello, my name is Andy Dry. I live at 525 Parent Drive, and I just want to say again, I love this city. Voted today, and it was a reminder of just how grateful I am for each and one of you for your service to our city and all the other public servants that are on the ballot. I wanted to mention just how special I feel like the car-free zone is in Morgan Square. It's one of the things that first kind of caught our attention when we started hanging out in Spartanburg. It's the place that we bring our family and our friends and people who talk to us about possibly joining us here in Spartanburg. And I thought since the project has been delayed, I would, on behalf of Strong Town Spartanburg, which is a people-oriented sort of advocacy group that we're a part of, would just encourage perhaps the consideration of expanding the car-free nature or going back to the plans that made even more space for pedestrians. I think it's just really special to have that kind of plaza, pedestrian, people-oriented place at the center, at the heart of the city. It's just really cool. And it seemed like maybe the Morgan Square was like getting put on the back burner, so I thought I'd stand up and just like say thumbs up to Morgan Square when the time comes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. See it for public comments. Item 6. Item 6, let me stop. Item 6, update on the road infrastructure improvement. Presenter tonight, yes, Mr. Travis Brown, Spartanburg County Public Works Director.
Thank you. Let's see. There we go. So thank you. So yes, sir, my name is Travis Brown. I'm the Director of Public Works for Spartanburg County. So in Spartanburg County, we have several different divisions. We got the Solid Waste Department, Roads and Bridges Department, our Engineering Department. C-Funds is also under Public Works. And then we've got our new Transportation Department. So that department was actually formed to manage the Capital Penny projects. Capital Penny, just as a reminder, that took effect on May 1st in 2024. So it's going to last for a period of 6 years. The way we categorize those projects were in tiers. So when you hear me talk about a tier, you can really relate that to a year. So right now we're in year 1. So this would be tier 1 projects. 2026 will be tier 2 projects. 2027 will be tier 3 projects. Before I really dive into this, I also like to give people some resources. If you go to the Spartanburg County's webpage and go to Spartanburg County under departments, under our purchasing department, we've got what we call our project letting schedule. So you can go there and you can see all of the projects that we've got coming up for bid. We really wanted to do this for two reasons. One, obviously for the public, so the public can actually go there and see all the projects that we have coming up. But we also wanted to do this for our contractor base. So with the amount of work that we have coming up, we wanted our contractors to be able to go there and really see everything that we've got coming up for the next year. Also, we've got a county project viewer. So if you go to spartanburgcounty.org, our departments, and then under Public Works, you can pull up that project viewer. It's GIS based, so you can look at different things on different layers. You can click on the projects. It'll tell you if it's an intersection improvement project, a paving project. It'll tell you the tier, and it'll also tell you how much the project is expected to cost. And lastly is the DOT project viewer. So same type of concept there. You can go to the DOT's webpage, and it'll show you all the projects that are coming up. Before I get into too much more of it, I wanted to put this up on the screen. So this really shows all of the projects that are within the city. I'm sorry. Also the funding for the city as well too. So over the next 6 years, the city of Spartanburg is estimated to get a little over $9.8 million. Goodness, excuse me. We have several projects that we finished to date. The first is the resurfacing of Highway 290, and that's from Reedville Road all the way to North Dantzler. North Daniel Morgan, so that's just right behind the courthouse, West Main Street, and St. John Street as well too. The remainder of Tier 1 projects, so we've actually bid Reedville Road, so that project starts at 290 and goes all the way to East Blackstock Road. So that project has been awarded. Rogers Group has actually got that project a little over $6.9 million. And then the Tier 2, so that'll be bid excuse me, I apologize. Tier 2, so that'll be bid in 2026. So that's Highway 29 from Reedville Road all the way to the Cherokee County line. So that project will likely be broken up into two sections. One will probably start in Cherokee, go to about Zion Hill Road. The second will go from Zion Hill Road and go all the way to Reedville Road. County municipal paving, so right now we've got about $15 million that are under construction. So that includes Fair Force Road, Ballinger Road, Bryant Road, Victor Hill Road. I won't read all of these, but those are currently under construction. We're planning to actually finish those projects by the end of this calendar year. We've got about $5 million under construction for the municipal projects. So that includes projects in Woodruff, Inman, Cowpens, Reedville, Lyman, Packlet, Greer, Duncan, Landrum, Welford, and also the city of Spartanburg. Actually going into next year, we've got about $20 million for our Tier 1 county paving. So that's 12 million within our subdivisions, about 12 miles within subdivision roads, 11 miles on the county through roads. We've got $5 million in our pavement preservation projects. So that's our crack seal, HA5, Rejuvenator, Cape Seal projects. And again, we'll have about $4 million in just our municipal projects. So that'll be Landrum, Campobello, Inman, and the city of Spartanburg as well too. County corridor reconstruction projects, so we've got a number of those that are under construction right now. C Road, so that's in the Bowling Springs area, so that project is actually finishing up. A little over $6.5 million, that's a Reeves construction project. 4th Street, so we have just bid that project. That project will actually not start until probably next year, but that represents about a $3 million investment there. Belcher Road, that project is actually out for bid right now, so that project likely will not start construction until next year as well too. Several other county corridors that are in the design phase: Hanging Rock Road, Lightwood Knot, Fraze Drive. So again, those are spread out across the county. And just wanted to give some pictures here of what our county corridors look like when we're doing these reconstructions. So these projects really are, so our county roads really are farm to market type roads. So these roads that are 16, 17 feet wide, instead of just going and resurfacing these roads, we actually want to go in there and get these roads to 24 feet. So we're purchasing property, we're moving utilities. Instead of just going, again, repaving a road, we're actually trying to completely rebuild these corridors. So that's kind of a before picture. This is actually C at Clark Road intersection improvement, just a two-lane to two-lane county road intersection there. And this is what it looks like when we're done here. So again, taking these little just farm to market roads, actually rebuilding those to 24 feet wide. Another picture here for C Road. And then the final product there for C at Clark. Intersection improvements, so again, I won't read the list, but I will highlight Zion Hill at Sloan's Grove, just right outside the city boundaries. So that project is complete now, and that project is open. We've got Clark at Bishop, a couple of other ones coming up this year as well too. Bryan at Flatwood, that one's done. West Cleveland, that one's done as well, as is Old John Dodd at Belcher Road in the Bowling Springs area. So again, just a before picture, and then what the product looks like afterwards. Clark at Sugar Ridge, so that's another roundabout, just giving you another example of what those intersection improvements look like. And then we also have what we call a capital penny safety improvement program. So we really like these intersection improvement projects, but a lot of them are $1.5 million, $2 million, $2.5 million a piece. And they only, they're just at one point in time. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to take that money, we actually wanted to spread it out across the county. And that's what we're trying to do here with these safety improvements. So that's striping of roads, rumble strips, guardrail. You can take relatively small dollars and spread those out in a larger format. So we've also got another $1 million coming up in 2026. That $1 million will also be in each tier through the remainder of the penny. Just highlighting a couple other projects that we've recently completed. So that's a Clark Road Bridge project. We've got the Belcher Road Bridge project and also the Kiss Road Bridge project. For our CTC department, we've got a couple of projects that we've recently completed. So I'll flip through these pretty quickly here. That's a 4th Street at Valley Falls. We've got Gary Armstrong at Highway 29. Victor Hill at Woods Chapel, another intersection improvement. Barry Shoals at Highway 290. And then lastly, we've got Apple Valley at Barry Shoals.
CTC?
CTCs, yes, sir. So it's called the County Transportation Committee. What that is it's actually state gas tax. So each county operates a little bit differently. In Spartanburg County, we've got 2 committees. We've got the advisory committee and we've got the full committee. But it's a legislative delegation program. But in Spartanburg County, we get about $7 million a year from the state gas tax. So it's divvied up a lot of different ways across the state. But a part of it comes to the CTCs. It's actually for, it's the C program. So back in the day, the DOT had A roads, they had B roads, and had C roads. So these C roads are what this program is for, and it's really for local secondary type of the network. But with this money, we can work on any public road. As long as it's publicly owned and maintained, we can work on it through the CTC.
So this is not necessarily the sales tax because it's gas tax.
This is the gas tax, yes, sir. So this is separately. Yes, sir.
Different from SPATS.
This is different than SPATS. So SPATS is actually federal money.
Okay.
So with the CTC in FY25, we approved about $10 million worth of paving. Again, I won't read through that list there. And for 2026, we've got a number of intersection improvement projects coming up. So we just awarded the Barry Shoals at Tuckapaw realignment project. We've got several intersections of improvement on Newcott Road, Upper Valley Falls roundabout, Barry Shoals at Duncan Reeville roundabout. We've also got some work that we're going to do in front of the Welford landfill. So if you've ever been to the landfill, really anytime, it's pretty busy out there. But we're going to put some turn lanes on Little Mountain Road, help that traffic actually get out of the middle of the pathways there. So not only are we doing that, in Spartanburg County, we've actually gone after several grants. Last year, we were awarded a $10 million grant for stormwater infrastructure. So we've got about 13 different culverts that we're replacing. So we really focused on our what we call CMP, so it's corrugated metal pipe. So you can imagine what happens when you put metal together with water. They don't like it, it rusts. So we're going in there and replacing it. So these are just some pictures of before and kind of the product that we're looking at afterwards there. Our safety action plan, so in last year, we actually went through on the county side and we evaluated all of our roads. We looked at crash data, particularly fatal and severe injuries, and we came up with our safety action plan. So what this does is it actually highlights what we call the high injury network. So it's where most of our crashes, particularly fatal and severe injuries, are happening on the roadway network within Spartanburg County. So our council actually adopted what we call a Vision Zero. And so it's our goal within the county to have 0 fatalities on our roadways by the year 2040. As part of that too, we submitted a federal grant and we were awarded that grant for the US DOT. So it was $20 million in total. So it was $16 million from the DOT, $4 million in local match money. Asheville Highway and North Pine Street were the two headline projects there. And then we've also got some money for our educational campaign and what we're calling spot safety improvements. So again, these are kind of lower cost improvements that we're looking at for intersections, trying to spread that money out in a lot of different places. But we're still working on the grant agreement with the DOT. The county has executed that. That's back into the hands of the DOT. So we're hopefully getting that back here soon, and we can start both those projects, particularly the Pine Street, North Pine Street, and the Asheville Highway project. Workforce development. So as you can see, we've got a pretty big body of work. This is a very ambitious program that we have, and simply put, if we're going to be successful in this program, we've got to have the people to do it. So we're really trying to work with our local education system and our local industry to give folks opportunities to have jobs within the construction industry. We've partnered with Spartanburg Community College. We've actually donated equipment to the community college. So right now you can go get a CDL, you can get an ACDL, or you can get a Class B CDL. Class A in 4 weeks, a Class B in 2 weeks. There's also grant money that folks can have. It's called SC Wins dollars. So you can apply for this money. These programs are essentially free. So the community college now, they also have a heavy equipment operators training program. They've got a foreman program, and they've got a superintendent program. So again, these are all certifications. If people are interested in getting into the construction industry, they can go to the community college, they can get those certifications, and essentially it's 100% job placement, right? Whether it's with local government or whether it's with private industry, there's enough work here in Spartanburg County that people can have careers with opportunities for advancement.
Awesome, great.
We've also got other partnerships as well too. So with One Spartanburg, their initiative with work-based learning and internship opportunities, our goal is to create 100 internship opportunities for the summer of 2026. So we're working with local construction industries to bring those folks, make sure they've got a seat at the table to give opportunities to high school students. Build for a Better Future Foundation. So this is also an initiative that the city has partnered with us as well too, given resources to Build for a Better Future. Our goal here is to place 50 high school students within the construction industry over the next 2 years. There's also a scholarship foundation as well. So last year, I think it was $16,000 was given out to local high school students. They could use that money either for higher education, or they could use that money if they were going into the construction industry. So if they needed to buy tools or supplies, that sort of thing, they could use that money for that. Our goal this year is to actually double that. So we're looking to give away $32,000 in scholarships this year. And again, our goal is to place 50 students within the construction industry over the next 2 years, working directly with the career centers, directly with the high schools. We've actually got a breakfast tomorrow at One Spartanburg. So we've got, I think we're up to 40 folks from the local construction industry that's going to come. We've got members of the DOT, Spartanburg County, city coming as well to One Spartanburg to talk to the construction industry about all the opportunities that they have, opportunities with the scholarship as well too. What we're going to ask them to do is we're going to ask them to give us job descriptions, incentive packages for the folks that they're looking to hire. Get that directly to the schools and help the schools so they can identify students, and then really try to cut out that middleman and make those connections directly with the students and with the construction industry. So certainly appreciate the city's cooperation and partnership there. It's not too many times, I think, that you can have the city, Spartanburg County. We've got state level organizations like the Asphalt Association and the CAGC, which is General Contractors Association, working with us as well. One Spartanburg, we've got the community college, local educational industry as well too. So I don't think there's too many areas that you can go to where everybody comes and partners together, pulling in the same direction for one cause like that. So with that, and I apologize, I kind of fumbled it through the beginning of this, but happy to go over anything again. I think I had a slide up there. I didn't really go over it, but a lot of projects happening within the city of Spartanburg, and do want to highlight those if I can get back to it.
Mr. Mayor, while Travis is calling up that slide, I just wanted to share what I think is obvious, that the pace of road work is dramatically increasing in and around the city. Among the corridors he mentioned are most heavily traveled, West Main, East Main, St. John, W.A. Weasel, Union Street paving is imminent. Future looking work on North Pine, Asheville Highway. And then effectively what you heard there was a doubling of the pace of routine resurfacing on city-owned streets through this. So just to bring all that data home, it's a dramatic increase in the volume of road infrastructure maintenance work in and around the city, of course, all across Spartanburg County. We really value at the staff level, really value our partnership with SCDOT and Spartanburg County. I know the mayor serves on SPATS. I serve on the C-Fund committee, the CTC. Jay and his team are on the advisory committee, and routine daily interaction with the county and DOT, trying to stretch these resources as far as we can, as fast as we can.
Gotcha. Travis, you had one more thing you wanted to add?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to bring up the slide, really reiterate what Chris was saying there. So I think this really shows the capital penny projects that we have coming up over the next 6 years, particularly in the city and just right outside of the city. So again, as you can see, Highway 29, Reeville Road, 221, South Church Street, 295. These are all projects that we've got planned over the next 6 years just through the capital penny, and really try to coordinate these efforts with the DOT, and even working with the DOT. I think they're going to be able to shift some of their money from their primary system to their secondary system, and it's because of mechanisms like this with the capital penny that we're able to do this work, that they can actually take those resources and put them in other places.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wood.
Yes, because the slide that you skipped, and I
Probably
think
this
that
one.
was the one, Union Street was there. Would you go back to that slide if you would, please?
Yes, ma'am. So I don't have Union Street. So Union Street is separate from the capital penny. So that's a project that's being managed directly by the DOT.
Okay, but you showed it there because you just skipped it.
I don't believe I showed Union Street.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I
on
saw
one of your
Union
slides.
Street there because you went by real fast.
It was on the one that had a long list.
Well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the Union Street paving is imminent. They've done the milling work,
Okay,
so.
but I wanted to
started.
see the streets that were
Yes, ma'am.
there.
I think where that would have been.
I don't believe I had Union.
Yeah, it was
I
on there.
saw Union Street. And you said that, because we'll skip this one, and you kept going.
Yes, ma'am. So these were the slides that I had up. So these are the projects that we just recently completed. So this was 290 North Daniel Morgan, West Main Street in St. John. These are the projects that we've actually bid. So we've bid and awarded Reeville Road from 290 all the way to East Blackstock Road in East Main Street. So those projects have been awarded to Rogers Group. They'll probably will not start those projects until next year. And then we've got our Tier 2 projects, so we'll bid those in 2026. Those projects really are, it's mainly Highway 29 is what that is.
It was the slide
Okay,
where
now
you
you're
had-
working on Union Street now, but they're working on it
They are.
now.
Yeah, it was
Go
the
ahead,
slide that
Jimmy.
had projects or resurfacing done or projects done in 2025, and then you had 2026 as well. It may have been earlier in the presentation. No, maybe I'm wrong, but you definitely had a slide that had it in there. I guess
Keep going.
my question
Yeah, but
about
keep-
Union Street, and maybe obviously it's not relevant to this presentation, but I've had conversations with some of the staff about making sure that as we move forward with that Union Street resurfacing, that we make sure that we're doing everything we can to stripe that road better for pedestrian access, both across Union Street and the side streets, because of the critical importance of the connectivity of Union Street to the rail trail.
Yes.
And also the Classroom School in some instances. So just want to make sure that we're working with DOT or whoever's managing that project to make sure that we're making the necessary improvements to the crosswalks. The other thing I saw a slide where you mentioned you've dedicated some resources for additional striping and safety features, guardrails and things like
We do,
that.
yes, sir.
And I hope that in the city, that would mean that we would spend some resources and time on some of our traffic calming devices. I think many of our traffic calming devices have aged and they're hard to identify. They're not, I mean, the paint has faded on them. And so even if you know they're there, you sometimes come up on them because you just don't see them on a sunny day or, really even anytime because they're not very well identified or marked at this point. So I'd hope we'd take some time on that. And then just to clarify, you mentioned all these projects that are underway, and then you also mentioned this $9.8 million. Those are separate. So the city is allocated 9.8 in addition to these projects that you've already talked about that we have at our discretion to make improvements on the roads for resurfacing and things like that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes, sir. We have, basically, the roadways you travel, the biggest ones are owned and maintained by SCDOT. The small neighborhood streets are owned and maintained by the city. And for those, that pot of money allows us to basically double the pace of resurfacing of those.
So when we get that resurfacing schedule that we see on an annual basis, that we should expect double the volume.
Yeah, well, it's double the resources, but we've also seen some inflation. So Jay would be careful to say probably won't be quite double the distance, but that is the purpose of those dollars, and that's what we have been programmed for. So.
I just have one question. I know that DOT is responsible for some roads, the county is others, the city is another. On Blackstock Road and John B. White, I think it's East Blackstock and West Blackstock. Who's responsible for that median in that road on John B. White? Would that be the county or the DOT? Because when you're turning off of Blackstock onto John B. White, this is from I-26. It is hard to make that turn, especially at night for people who having problems and when it's raining. So who's responsible for that road, that corner?
Yes, ma'am. So that would be the DOT.
DOT.
Yes, ma'am. So the easiest way to tell who maintains a road is to look at the street sign. So if you look at the street sign and there's a Redbird on it, it's maintained by Spartanburg County. If you look at the street sign and it's got a state seal on there, it's maintained by the DOT. And then each municipality has its own different sign that's on this. I can tell you, if you're within a municipal boundary, Spartanburg County does not have any roads that they maintain within any municipality. So it would be either, it could be a municipal road, it could be a state road. There are obviously some private roads as well too.
But we'll check on that and talk to the SCDOT about that particular concern.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brown, two questions. It's clear y'all have been extremely busy and your work is great and obvious. And on the road behind the new courthouse, there's a sign that says brought to you by the penny or paid for by the penny or whatever it is. And you have done some social media videos to talk about the work that's been done. It almost doesn't matter what we post online, someone's gonna post, but what about the roads? You know, we could post about Dickens of a Christmas and why spend money on Christmas? What about the roads? So all that to say, I encourage you, whenever at all possible, to put those signs, paid for by the penny, brought to you by the penny, because I think that just reinforces not only is the work being done, but that you can trust government to spend the money that we have allocated for this project for that. My question is, and it's not a road that's within the city, but I represent the west side and we have part of School District 6 in there. And back in April, there was that tragic car accident that killed 3 Dorman students off of Fair Forest Clevedale Road. And I was curious, that's one of those roads where we have some of the big tractor trailers that come out. Is that a road that's been identified as needing any additional security measures to get to that 0 by 2040?
So I'd need to check on that road specifically. As of right now, we don't have any plans for a particular project on that road, but it's certainly on our radar. So one other thing that we're looking at as well too is developing a dashboard so that all this information can be made available to the public. So and it's crash data that we get from the Department of Public Safety on a monthly basis to show crashes in Spartanburg County, particularly fatal and severe injury crashes, and how we're doing. And the hope is that one, we can do these projects, but then two, actually have an educational campaign as well too. So we understand the demographic folks that have these types of accidents, so that we can go to them, right, and do an educational. So just the roadway improvements is only a piece of that. It's going to have to be a holistic approach to this. The education of it, the understanding of actually what led to those accidents is a big part as well too.
Okay, thank you.
And also, I think we need to make sure that we're over-communicating, particularly in the city. We, work through road projects either as a city or with our DOT partners. I mean, Union Street's a great example. Make sure we're over-communicating so people know what to expect and are prepared for, not only the progress that brings, but the disruptions that can be caused as a result of it.
Yeah, I joke that, so I've been Public Works Director for about 10 years now. People call me and say, I've lived here for 50 years. You never touched my road. Now people are calling me saying, how dare you do construction on this road? I can't get to where I'm supposed to go. So, but no, if we're going to get complaints, I'm glad people are complaining we're actually working. So.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's necessarily a complaint. I just think people need to be, made aware of what to expect as that progress takes effect.
One other quick question I would have to ask, being employed by School District 7, Cannons Campground Road, the bridge.
Yes.
Any updates?
So it's not being managed by the county.
I know.
But I did speak with the DOT. It's my understanding that construction is supposed to be complete by the end of this calendar year. Full warning, we've got a couple of other projects that are coming up on Cannons Campground. So we've got Cannons Campground at Floyd intersection improvement. So that's a tier 2 project. We plan to bid that project next year. It's going to be a roundabout. So there will be construction. And then we've also got in tier 3, it's Cannons at Gossett. So right now the plan is another roundabout there as well too. So unfortunately, there's going to be more construction on Cannons Campground
Even
for the
after
next
the
couple of
bridge is
years.
done.
But if we can live through a little bit of pain, we recognize that that is a major corridor, particularly for the east side of Spartanburg. There's not a great way to get to 85, right? So that's why we looked at those two intersections. And then ultimately we've got Floyd Road, Plainview Drive. Those are two other corridors that we've got planned for improvements throughout the penny as well too. So.
No, Travis, thank you for that update. Thank you for that information.
No, appreciate y'all being patient with me. Sorry for the flubbing at the beginning of it. So, but thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. One Spartanburg, Inc. Economic Development Updates. Presenter, Mr. Alan Smith, President and CEO of One Spartanburg. Mr. Smith, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, appreciate the opportunity to be
You
here.
have 2 minutes.
Well, you have the gavel, so I will do as told. I do appreciate following Travis because Travis outlined some differentiating investments, differentiating projects. If you remember, we've had neighboring counties that have tried to make this investment and couldn't get it over the line. So what we're doing in partnership with the county and all the municipalities is really going to be differentiating over the next few years. All 577 projects are either in design or being bid or under construction. So these things take time. And so I think I've spent enough time to give Christopher the opportunity to get my presentation up there. And now I'll spend the next 18 seconds I have left giving my presentation. But in all seriousness, I do appreciate being here. We're in a special moment right now in the city of Spartanburg, particularly downtown. And so I want to quickly run through some slides. We have something that we've been working on. It was actually completed over the weekend, a new economic impact report. I want to share that with council as well and the general public for the first time. But before we dive into downtown, I think it's important to appreciate and understand what's happening across the county. From 20 to 2024, $7.4 billion in new investment, 152 new projects, and the most important stat, 8,611 new jobs. for the people that call Spartanburg County home. That is a #1 in South Carolina run. And when you see those kinds of numbers, you think that's absolutely remarkable. And then you get to this year. $3.35 billion in new investment since January 1. Again, #1 in South Carolina. And one of the most important stats is, the most important stat is the 882 new jobs. And I will tell you, of those jobs, there's one project that's nearly 300 new jobs, paying an average of $99,000. So a lot of the things that we've been talking about as a community in terms of raising per capita income for years, we're beginning to see that happen, and we're beginning to see it happen at scale. And what's even more important is, and I'm so glad my friend and colleague Catherine O'Neill is here, our Chief Economic Development Officer at One Spartanburg Inc., because she has really embraced the fact that we have to diversify our economic development approach. We can't have all our eggs in the advanced manufacturing basket. That is our bread and butter. We've won in that space, and we will continue to win in that space, but we have to continue our partnership with the city. We have to continue to think about life science projects, white-collar projects, regional back office, so on and so forth. And so when you look at our portfolio and what we're working on collectively with our partners, this is what you see. And you don't see this for other economic development organizations throughout the county. Most of them are fairly niche, or they're myopic. So in our shop, we're thinking about downtown. I see Laura Ringo is here. We're thinking about trails and entertainment and multifamily, because we know in order to be sustainable, we've got to diversify our approach. And so I want to take you back to 2016. In 2016, we knew that we needed a comprehensive, data-driven community and economic development strategy. So we started the process of building One Spartanburg Vision Plan. And a part of that process is we conducted a survey. Another part of that process was literally an outside firm pulled economic data about our community for 3 months. That survey, 3,100 people participated in that survey. And the one thing that I'm proud of is we partnered with the library system. And so all the libraries across the county, in order for people to access the free Wi-Fi, they had to take our survey. So that drove up participation, but more important, we heard from people that typically don't have a voice. People that were going to the library to use free Wi-Fi. They told us what they wanted to see. And in 2016, when all that feedback was entered in, we generated this word cloud. Let me go back to what the question was. Imagine that you went home, packed your bags, and didn't return to Spartanburg County for 10 years. What would you want to see different about the community when you return? That was 2016. We're almost 10 years from asking that question. And by a margin of 5-1, the most commonly used word was downtown. People wanted to see downtown Spartanburg improve. People wanted more housing options in downtown Spartanburg. They wanted multifamily options. They wanted restaurants. You see all the words that were mentioned. But people expected us, people expected their local governments, and they were hopeful that the private sector would also lean into downtown Spartanburg. And that's exactly what has happened. The data back from that first report, 2017, 2021, was pretty damning. Residents aged 25 through 34 rated 10 of 14 quality of life factors lower than other groups. They said from an entertainment perspective, they'd actually prefer to live somewhere else. From a housing perspective, there just weren't many options. And in fact, that age group was voting with their feet. From 04 to 14, it only grew by 3.8%, the lowest among all our peer regions. Lower than Chattanooga, lower than Hamilton County, Tennessee, lower than Fort Wayne, Indiana, lower than Rock Hill, South Carolina, and lower than the state average. Today, that demographic is our second fastest growing demographic behind 65 plus. They also said we had a long way to go in terms of residential development, multifamily, really all kinds of options for housing, from affordable to workforce housing, all the way up to executive. In fact, in 2016, there were 461 multifamily units in and around downtown Spartanburg. We are now right in that 4,000 to 5,000 range. And so here were some of the recommendations from those early vision plans. Support multifamily housing development, particularly in downtown Spartanburg. We need more Class A office space if we're going to recruit more higher-paying white-collar jobs. Create a favorable climate for development in downtown Spartanburg. This council has done that. Invest in entertainment and cultural amenities to attract and retain talent. If I would have told folks back in 2017 that we're going to have a minor league baseball stadium that's going to be programmed 85%, 80% of the nights, they would have said, you're crazy, that'll never happen. Well, back then they were asking us to really double down and invest in entertainment and cultural amenities. And I think if you can't find something to do in Spartanburg these days, it's your problem. And then we've all seen all these pictures, but I want to show them again because it really illustrates the fact that this vision, this aspiration for our community is literally coming to life in front of our eyes. So you see the planetarium there. You see the courthouse. Well, why is the courthouse important? These are literally hundreds of office professionals that are having coffee, eating breakfast, spilling out into downtown during lunch, so on and so forth. Having this many people concentrated in one space is a huge economic driver across downtown. And then I mentioned the minor league baseball stadium and the unbelievable investment that the Johnsons have made and continue to make in the city of Spartanburg. It is a differentiator. It is a level of investment that's drawing investment from others. We're seeing Lat Purser do 1, 2, 3 projects out of Charlotte. We're going to see a multifamily developer out of Indiana. We're seeing investment come from outside areas because our people, our local people, believe in what we're building here in Spartanburg. Speaking of that, this is Project Core, and I think most of you all have seen these renderings, but I'm awestruck every time I see them because this is really what momentum looks like. And then, of course, this is the city-county complex, also made possible by the 2017 penny. It's important to point out, the day the courthouse was done, the people of Spartanburg County had no debt. The people of Spartanburg County had a building that was completely paid for with no increase in the property tax rate, and 30% of the revenue came from people that don't even live here. That's what the penny did for those buildings. That's what the penny's going to do for our roads, and that's what the penny's going to do for the city-county complex when it is done. Another example, too, of impact in downtown Spartanburg as those people spill out on the streets and patronize our local businesses. 111 Main Street, again, more multifamily development, more housing options. This is a little bit of a busy chart, but we've heard a lot of conversation about hotels. Do we need more hotels in Spartanburg County? This chart and the next one says absolutely yes. We have an occupancy rate right now of 71.5%. That's higher than Myrtle Beach. That's neck and neck with Charleston. It's higher than Birmingham, slightly higher than Columbia, and higher than Chattanooga. Year over year, occupancy rates are going up. In other words, year over year, our hotels, our existing hotels, are fuller and fuller and fuller. So last year, we saw occupancy go up by 9.3%, more than every single community listed on that graph. RevPAR, this is revenue per available room night. Once again, you see Spartanburg at the top. Once again, when you look at year-over-year change, our RevPAR almost went up 20%, more than any of these communities on this chart. So if people say, well, we don't need another hotel, well, the people that invest in hotels and understand how this works, they look at the data, they look at charts like this, And the justification has been made for more hotel product in our community. And glad to see that downtown with the Fairfield and then the next one, downtown is going to see more hotel product. And so this is all about momentum. Yesterday's investment led to today's projects. Today's projects lead to tomorrow's investment. But how does that really impact the community? How does that help everyday people here in the city of Spartanburg? So Dr. Bob Brookover with Clemson PRT program, we've commissioned an economic impact study, and I want to share that with council tonight. Before I do, this is a little bit technical, but just some of the definitions that you'll see in the study. Direct effects, I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. The number of jobs that will be supported by all the economic investment in and around downtown Spartanburg. Labor income is all the money that will be made through those jobs. And then economic output is really the total economic activity. And so this is what the report told us. When you add up all the projects in or around downtown Spartanburg, you have a total of $1.2 billion in new investment. And then you go to the very, very bottom and you see what kind of impact that's going to have just in the city. Then you go to the very bottom and you see how it's going to spill out into the county and then all across the state of South Carolina. So the state as a whole will see almost a $1.9 billion economic impact by what's happening in downtown Spartanburg. And keep in mind, these are not additive. So the 1.4 billion is the measured impact just in the city, 1.7 just in the county, and then the 1.8 just for the state. But as I always say, the most important thing is the jobs. So the economic impact will support 11,389 jobs in the city of Spartanburg, 13,000 or so in Spartanburg County, and then almost 14,000 across the state of South Carolina. The top lines are as follows, and this is mind-boggling. Combined downtown CBD projects will support slightly more jobs than those on site at BMW Plant Spartanburg. 13,706 jobs supported by the investment in downtown Spartanburg. That expanding tax base will hire teachers, build schools, fixes our roads, supports first responders. Talent, talent, talent. Talent is a currency of economic development. If we have talent, we will continue to win. If we don't have talent, we will not win. And when we do not win, we know what that looks like in this community 40 or 50 years ago when textiles left. Our people won't have jobs, and they will either have to move or they'll have to drive 45 minutes to an hour to get those jobs. So, you know, there's some angst around growth, and I get that, and I appreciate that. But this is a community today where you can lose your job on a Monday and you can get another one on a Tuesday. That's a blessing, because there are a lot of communities in South Carolina right now where you can lose your job on a Monday and you have two choices. You can move or you can plan to drive an hour to and from work every single day. That's just not the reality for people that call Spartanburg County home. So with that, I'm happy to take any of your questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan, for that presentation, man. That's some good numbers, impressive numbers, and I'm sure we have a couple questions. Councilwoman Smith.
Thank you, Alan. Not a question, but more of a statement, or just to double click, as my boss likes to say, on what you said at the very end. I think that you all do such a wonderful job celebrating Spartanburg, and not just celebrating it, but making what we celebrate happen. You know, Catherine is the magic behind so much of what we do here. We love to cut the ribbons, we love to show the numbers. But one thing that I've been reflecting a lot on since the whole clock tower conversation is there are a lot of people that those numbers are not clicking with. When we talk about momentum, and those people feel left behind. And that means that we're not doing a good enough job at helping people understand why a new hotel downtown is a good thing. I had the privilege this past week of speaking to a Wofford class, and I see one of our students, Sydney, back there. And we talked about this. We talked about how a city has, two options to raise revenue. You either raise taxes on your people, or you bring in new businesses to help generate new revenue. And none of us want to raise taxes on our people. We want to bring in new businesses and new revenue. And what can we do with a larger budget? How can we support new, like you said, first responders and put new police on the streets? But that takes new business. But that takes a lot of words to say. And people are after the fast clicks, the easy jab. But we've got to figure out a way to get that message across to people. So, I'm speaking to myself as well, but figuring out a way to do that, I think will make our job easier, y'all's job easier. But, you're right, there's a lot of angst around growth because we can't make that connection. There are people who live in the city who will never go to a baseball game. But how do we help them understand that that is still good for them? We were last week at the Upstate Talent Forum where we heard from the Prophet of Doom, who talked about some scary numbers when it comes to not having enough people in the workforce to take care of an aging population, for example. So helping people understand that having younger people move to Spartanburg is a really great thing, especially if they can get involved in healthcare, because then that means you're going to have someone who can take care of you when you're older. But we have to help make those connections, and that's it. It's just a statement. And so there's smart people out there, marketing folks, Christopher, all of those people, but it's something that we need to do a better job at.
Can I speak to that?
Of course.
So, I'm hoping that some of that came through in our presentation, just the availability of jobs. And, there was a day and time where it was, we want jobs, jobs, jobs. Well, now we're at a moment in time where we say, we will, as an organization in partnership with local government, recruit quality jobs. And so wages are up as a result of that. Per capita income is up. You mentioned a lot of people not benefiting, and that is the case, which is why I'm delighted that while youth unemployment is too high, we have something in Spartanburg County that we're looking to address, that we hope will address that issue, and that is the fact that through 120 some employers in our partnership with SAM and Movement 2030, we now have 600 work-based learning opportunities available to high school students. That's so important because they get active and they get engaged, and it might light a spark, and that might lead to them going to college, or it may lead them to fill one of these many, many jobs. It may lead them to realize, I don't want to do what I'm doing right now, and seek out something differently. And that is just beginning. That's only 18 months old. And so we see that scaling in a way that would matter. Labor force participation rate is not what it needs to be. I think this group realizes that transportation is a barrier, and that is a priority of yours. We understand that childcare is a barrier to labor force participation rate, and we've been given the opportunity really to lead the state of South Carolina in introducing some innovative and effective policies that we hope will be embraced in Columbia, and we can begin to see some scale change as far as that. But economic development is the engine that sustains communities. And so just to reiterate what I was saying, we are in a community where if you find yourself without opportunity, it's proximate here. You don't have to move. You don't have to drive an hour. We just got to get people ready to take those opportunities.
Proximity. I love that, Alan. Just one other quick, Travis mentioned it as well, the internships, and you were just mentioning it. And as you go back and you said in 2016, 461 jobs.
461 multifamily units.
Oh, I'm sorry. And yes, because now we're up to in between 4,000 and 5,000.
Right.
Multi-family units. But again, retaining the talent in order to occupy those family units is what we're looking at. And I do so appreciate the opportunity you guys are giving the high schoolers around Spartanburg County to participate in your internships here in the city. So I know we're hitting on 600 this coming summer,
Right.
correct?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Brown.
Yeah, Alan, thank you and Catherine and your entire team for all that you do for our community. You know, I read one time years ago, the great banker Hugh McCall once said that cities are like banks. You know, you either grow or you die. And so, you know, growth is an essential component of what we're trying to do as a community. And growing in a responsible way is critically important. And you know, that's why we invest so much time in our comprehensive plan and get the public engagement involved in that. And so many of these other things that we do, our approval process that we have for these major projects. And you know, I think Erica mentioned it at our last meeting, but as both a parent and a graduate of Wofford during a fall football season, I have the benefit of seeing folks that are like you just proposed, packed their suitcase and left Spartanburg 10 or 20 years ago, who've come back as alumni or parents to see what's happened in our community, and they're blown away.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't believe that this is the Spartanburg that they went to college with, you know, in my case, 10 years ago, or in Chris's case, 30 years ago. But it's just amazing. I mean, it really is. And I was speaking to a group last week, and you know, I used a lot of the same visual slides that you used in your presentation, because I think one of the things that has dawned on me is that people, you know, that they know these projects are going on, and they're you know, they're excited about them generally. Sometimes they're frustrated by some of the disruptions that are created. But I don't think that there is wide enough understanding of the visual component of how our downtown in particular is going to change over the next 5 years. So to Megan's point, you know, if we can have a concerted communication effort. I mean, just the slide that, you know, shows what Project Core will look like when it's completed. I mean, you know, the city-county complex, if you're looking at it from Groucho's down the street, I mean, you know, those things excite people. And so in addition to conveying the economic impact, the real world impact of jobs and things like that, you know, connecting people to what Spartanburg will look like in 3 to 5 years, I think would go a long way to bolstering the excitement that I think all of us feel about these projects, and I know you're working on it on a daily basis, but the excitement about what these projects would mean to the citizens of our community, both now and in the future. And you know, I have 3 boys that are rapidly approaching that fastest growing demographic that you showed, and you know, I want them to see opportunity here so that they want to, you know, live here and raise their families. And that's what this work is all about. And that's why it's so exciting to me personally.
Well, thank you. And I think a differentiator again, and we also take this for granted, how well we work together in this community. We have a city council, a county council. You know, we've celebrated wins in Woodruff, and we've celebrated wins in Landrum and Inman and so on and so forth. And not only that, we have a willing private sector, a willing local private sector that's willing to invest, which causes people from Charlotte and North Carolina in general to take part. Eastern North Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina, make an investment here in Spartanburg. And so that public-private partnership, we say it, and I think when we're in it all day, every day, we don't appreciate the fact that it does not happen like this in other communities. So that too, Jamie, is special.
Yeah. Councilwoman Littlejohn.
Yes, Alan, I just want to make a comment. I moved back here. I moved away from here in 1975, and I moved back here in 2007. And I was really shocked to see the way that things were in Spartanburg, because it had kind of gone down from the point that I knew it as being. And then when you and Catherine came on board, I don't know, it was like a roller coaster, because you two just began to make things happen. And Catherine's hair was black when I first met her. So no, you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, between you two and the team that you have that's working with you and the city of Spartanburg, 'cause we are making things happen here in Spartanburg. And I am so proud to say that I live in Spartanburg. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I may have had hair back then. No, great. Alan, again, thank you for the presentation. We do appreciate the partnership, and that's the collaborative effort of Spartanburg, and that's how we continue to make these things move. Again, even talking with Travis from the Penny, the collaborative effort amongst the parties that are involved with all of these. So we do thank one Spartanburg, we thank the county, we thank our private sector partners as well. And again, just seeing what Spartanburg is moving, man. I'm so excited being a native, born and raised here. It just excites me every day when I wake up and think about what's going on in Spartanburg. So again, thank you.
Thank you. We're honored to partner. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Awesome. All in favor?
Aye.
Any that oppose? Ayes have it. Thank you. Jay Squires, we are about to award a bid of the Mary H. Wright Greenway Trail Phase 2. Squires, Public Works Director.
Yes, sir. Mayor, council, so staff received the bids for the Mary H. Wright Greenway Phase 2. I think everybody's sort of familiar with what Phase 1 was. It'll pick up right there on South Converse Street and kind of connect that south side corridor to the existing trail system. So the project will consist of larger pedestrian walkways and protected bicycle lanes as well, sort of similar to what was completed on that stretch of Daniel Morgan as well. So it'll kind of look like that as well. So I'm very excited about it. We had three contractors who submitted the bids. Community First Developers out of Anderson was the responsive low bid at $365,228.95. If you're probably familiar with them, they actually completed the Mary Black resurfacing back almost 2 years ago. Wow, it's been a long time. So staff's reviewed the bids. We've considered all three of those bids, and we determined that Community First Developers is responsive low bid. The project should take about 45 days to complete. They'll, like every other project, will have detour routes depending on the complexity of the project and how it impacts the roadways as well. We're asking the council to allow the city manager enter into a contract with Community First Developers for the completion of the project. And the good thing, like you said at the bottom, state funds will be used to complete the project.
Councilman Foreman.
Yeah, I love the state funds, that's great. It's such a wide range in the bids.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. I mean, it's a $600,000 delta between the high and low.
Just the last one there, the Foothills Contracting Services, we've never dealt with them before. I think Central South Carolina, the location, the farther away from your kind of hub, you probably have a number that's going to pique your interest. So I think they threw that out there, but
we're confident that Community First can deliver on the
Yes, sir.
the work and, okay.
And you just stated they did the resurfacing at Mary Black, right?
They did the Mary Black completion this time of year, so we were very pleased with their progress. They got it done relatively quickly and on time and on budget.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion. We approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any that oppose? Ayes have it. Item 10, staff update. Mr. Story.
Mr. Mayor, just a couple of things to cover quickly, your staff is following closely the discussions in Washington and working with our nonprofit partners about the potential local impact of an interruption in SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits that affect a large number of residents. Across all of Spartanburg County, it's about 38,000 residents. I don't have city-specific data, but we would assume that it'd be roughly proportional to about 1 in 10 residents supported by monthly SNAP benefits. So we are engaging with nonprofit partners and mobilizing strategies. Obviously, we don't know the certainty of an interruption and how long it might be, but we want to be as proactive as we can. A first step on that begins actually tomorrow at, I believe it's 10, maybe it begins at 11, at the Dr. T.K. Gregg Center, a resource fair, community resource fair. A lot of the major nonprofit social service providers in the community will be on hand for folks that are concerned about that and may be able to find other tools and resources to address needs. That includes a unique element, the Fifth Third Bank eBus, which is a financial literacy and financial stability educational and resource tool that goes around different sites will be there, as well as the United Way and a number of our partners. Obviously, one event is not but it's merely one first step into thinking about how we might support folks if there is a sustained interruption in SNAP benefits. So we'll continue to work on that. I'll continue to have additional updates for you at your next meeting, and we'll be moving aggressively to marshal any available resources to ensure that we minimize adverse impact on the community.
Chris, is it correct that WIC is being funded?
That's my understanding, but again, there's not, we don't have great information, and some of the things I'm reading from DC have shifted, so,
Okay.
but that's my understanding.
So you're saying WIC
is women,
is
infants,
being
and
funded?
children. So if you're pregnant or have a small child, that's a separate federal fund that helps with formula and food.
But it will be funded, you're saying?
Well, that's, Chris is saying, I had heard that it would be, but Chris is saying that maybe there's conflicting information.
Right, I'm not 100% sure, just to be candid.
It's a separate
Yeah.
pot.
It is a separate program altogether, and I'm just not sure. But we're going to do all we can and figure, find the best strategies we can to be supportive of in the community.
And like you said, this is a first step here, just to try to get the conversation started.
I'm
Councilmember
just
Sally.
curious, you having it at TK Gregg, is this just for the partners or is this for the community?
Oh, it's for the community to come and learn about resources that are available.
Information's been sent out to them?
Yes, well, we've put it together quickly, but we're pushing it out through all of our various channels, and so are our partners in that. And it's just a first step for folks to learn about additional resources that are available locally. We will probably replicate the similar type of communication and that kind of thing. So if you have friends or family that are particularly at risk if SNAP is interrupted, this would be a good time to learn some things that might be
If you
of
don't have
benefit.
great participation this week, you will try it again and again and again.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm sure some of our friends in the media, some of whom are here tonight, would be willing to help us
Yes.
get that word out and amplify that as quickly as possible.
And actually, I think Kim Brown, I know Kim Brown is on a radio commercial with one of the local radio stations as well, getting out the same information.
Mr. Mayor, that was my primary update to cover, but certainly any questions on any topics are welcome.
That's great. All right, that sounds like city council updates. Councilwoman Smith.
Yeah, if there's one thing that Spartanburg does well, it's rally around each other and for each other in time of need. So I'm glad that is happening. Before we meet again, we will have an election. So encourage everyone to go vote. Every single vote matters. We only had 6% show up for the state senate, which is a terrible amount. So really hope that we can show that the city is much more engaged than that. We'll have a new council person, and best of luck to my fellow council people who are running. So go vote.
It's up to me.
Yes, ma'am.
And, you know, I was just thinking a little while ago, before you are up for reelection and Christie is running for reelection, if I could vote for you all, I'd vote for every one of you.
Well, thank you.
Because I think you are just great. Anyway, I went to vote on last week. I took my aunt. There were nobody in there but me and my aunt. And this was at 11 o'clock in the morning. There were nobody because we walked right in. And I asked the lady that was there, are people not coming to vote? And she said they are not coming in to vote. I don't know what's wrong with these people that are not voting, but I tell you what, with everything that's going on in the world right now, if you do not vote, because you only have yourself to blame, because if things don't go the way that you think that they should. Also, on October the 16th, I attended the Boots and Pearls event, and it was wonderful. Congratulations to all of the honorees on October the 17th. The planetarium had their grand opening, and congratulations to Todd on his accomplishment. And on October the 20th, and I hope and pray that none of us go walk around with a chip or mad with somebody. I was at a function with Javan King. He and his wife shared the table with me and my husband and James Talley. On October the 20th, 1 month from that day, he was gone. I never would have guessed that he would be gone. That was a wonderful evening. So I encourage everybody that if you have a chip on your shoulder with somebody, go and straighten it out, because life is too short for you to be walking around mad. You never know when death is going to knock on your door. He was a great guy. I just love Javan. And then the Grassroots had their graduation on October the 23rd, and congratulations to all of the graduates. And I just have to pat my mayor on, I just don't know how he does it. I thought I did a lot, but everywhere I go, I see him. He is always showing up, and thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Sally.
I want to say that on last week, I believe, first of last week, we went to tour Ridgeway Village. I was very impressed, very pleased with the fact that we as partners has joined in to make sure that our citizens who are homeless will have a place to stay and gain some respect and get back out into the working world to help themselves. Also, she mentioned Boots with Pearls. It was a beautiful event. It was held at the Fifth Third Park, and it was magnificent. Beautiful evening, and congratulations to those who were awarded. We also celebrated the Park Hills neighborhood, where we got the news to get involved with what Spartanburg has to offer, and to each and every one of the staff that was there, who was there for advice, to share our services. I thank you, and I appreciate the neighbors that did come out and to enjoy the festivities. I also, that following day, went to Chapman Culture Center to witness Coppola. I think I'm saying that right. And it was fantastic. I thought I could read the whole story of the event, and I did, and it was fantastic. And I hope that you all will take a chance and go to the Culture Center to check in some of the programs that they offer. This past Saturday, we buried the young man, Javan King, our officer, who was a gentle soul, who was a part of my life as a church member. He helped me with my child at Dorman High School, so he will be truly missed. And to the family, my deep condolences. Also, we recognize Mr. Ralph McCullough, who was instrumental in providing his hand and his handiwork for Highland Home. They honored him, and congratulations to his family for a plaque for his services that was rendered. And if you get a chance, and it's safe, it's sound, and it's beautiful, and it's on Beacon Street. I can't remember the corner street name, but you need to go and see the plaque that was presented to the family, and is on the brickwork. And yesterday, we did a recognition for Miss Kitty Black Perkins, who was the person responsible for the first Black Barbie doll, and all the princesses and angels came out to be with her. It was the cutest tea party ever. I enjoyed it. Of course, I did have on my former affair, but it was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Palmer.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I just want to thank the Spartanburg Fire Department. They came out yesterday to my father's house. Normally they come when he tries to cook, but in this instance, he had a carbon monoxide alarm that the sensor triggered, and they came out, took a look at it. It was identified as a faulty battery, but I think they gave him a new one, and gave him good peace of mind. So I appreciate them for doing that and the service they provide to all of us. Also, like my colleagues, I want to send my thoughts and condolences to Officer King's family. Terrible loss, and I know his friends and family will feel that very deeply. And then finally, we're sitting here in the county council chambers tonight, and we lost former county council chair Jeff Horton last week. He was a great champion for our community, and Alan was talking about collaboration and the things that we do working together in Spartanburg. And I think Jeff was a key instigator for bringing our county together and starting to move us forward. And so he leaves a lasting legacy. And it's also a reminder to all of us that, we take for granted sometimes that collaboration and the successful spirit in which we all share and move our community forward. But it is also very fragile, and we need to be very good stewards of the trust that's placed in us to help move our community forward. And Jeff is certainly somebody that served as a great example of that, and we should be grateful for him, and our thoughts go to him and his family as well.
Thank you for that, Jamie. I truly forgot. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Mayor, been out of town a good bit, so I've missed quite a number of events, but I do want to extend my condolences to Officer King's family as well. I always remember him, when he was off duty, but still on duty, always leading, the electric slide and the line dancing downtown, and always really engaging with our young people. And he just had a smile that would just brighten up a room. So he will be truly missed, and we will be thinking of him and his family. Also Jeff's family as well. He had a huge impact on, over 25 years on council for county council, and really helped us get that needle moving in the right direction with regard to how we have grown as a community. So he will also be missed. Had an opportunity to attend the Bridgeway event with Councilwoman Sally and you, Mr. Mayor, and Megan. I think this is going to be a really good opportunity to help our most vulnerable. You know, this particular project, a tiny home project, will be assisting women and children, and they will have, you know, case management and have access to financial literacy and job training, and so it's a really good opportunity to see what we can do. It's more of a pilot program, so it's going to start small, but I think that it's going to be a really great opportunity to help these women get back on their feet, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. And as my favorite president said, don't boo, vote.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I do have one more thing to say, and I want to say congratulations and tell the police department I am very pleased for their work. And they have worked well in solving some cases that has been a thorn in our side. And I am very proud of them. Also, please get out and vote. We'll have one more week of early voting. And after that, you have an official date. Appreciate you all.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Get out to vote was at the top of mind as well. There are over 300 elections within the state of South Carolina, so it's a lot of election. Of course, you know, we have county and local elections here, so definitely get out to vote. My condolences truly go to Jeff Horton's family as well as Jay Vans. Alan, thank you again for that update with the economic impact. Travis for the roads, we do appreciate that. And Andy, you heard all that good stuff about Spartanburg, so let's keep pumping it. Thank you for what you do. Kitty Black Perkins, if you, she was there at the ribbon cutting on that Friday, but we also had a personal conversation with her because she was present on Miles with the Mayor, for you guys that missed it. And we had an awesome time with her. She will be at Spartanburg High School on tomorrow, talking with students as well. So, I mean, she's letting her presence be known here in Spartanburg, and it's just what we do in this community, bringing everyone to the table. Pride had their celebration Saturday as well, and again, we just want to make sure everyone is welcome in Spartanburg. We're not about any division. We want to be inclusive to all we do. So with that, do I hear a
Motion to move into executive session.
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Any that oppose? Ayes have it. Thank you guys for coming.